Chapter 1. The Invasion. The air raid sirens pierced the night, jolting Aurelia from her restless slumber. She leaped out of bed, heart pounding, as the ground trembled beneath her feet. The Zorgons had arrived, and their invasion of Earth had begun. Aurelia raced to the window, her eyes widening in horror as she witnessed the chaos unfolding in the streets below. Massive, otherworldly ships hovered above the city, raining down destruction upon the helpless populace. Buildings crumbled, fires raged, and panicked screams filled the air. "This can't be happening," Aurelia whispered, her voice trembling. "We're not ready for this." She thought back to the warnings that had gone unheeded for years, the signs of an impending alien invasion that most had dismissed as mere conspiracy theories. Now, faced with the terrifying reality, Aurelia knew that humanity's very existence hung in the balance. A sudden explosion rocked the building, shattering the windows and sending Aurelia stumbling backward. She barely had time to regain her footing when her phone buzzed with an incoming call. It was her brother, Zephyr. "Aurelia!" Zephyr shouted, his voice barely audible over the cacophony of destruction. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Aurelia replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "Where are you?" "I'm at the base. Listen, we need you here now. The Zorgons are targeting our defenses, and we need every available pilot." Aurelia's heart skipped a beat. As a fighter pilot in the Earth Defense Force, she had trained for this moment, but the reality of it was far more terrifying than any simulation. "I'm on my way," she said, already moving to grab her gear. "Hurry, Aurelia. We don't have much time." The call ended abruptly, leaving Aurelia alone with the weight of the world on her shoulders. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for the battle ahead. The fate of humanity rested in the hands of the brave few willing to stand against the Zorgon invasion. As Aurelia raced out of her apartment building and into the war-torn streets, she knew that this was only the beginning of a long and perilous fight. The odds were stacked against them, but she refused to let fear consume her. For the sake of her loved ones and the entire human race, Aurelia would give everything she had to protect her home and her people. The last stand had begun, and Aurelia was ready to face it head-on. Chapter 2. Into the Fray. Aurelia sprinted through the chaos, dodging debris and panicked civilians as she made her way to the Earth Defense Force base. The sound of alien aircraft whizzed overhead, their eerie green lasers cutting through the night sky. She couldn't help but feel a sense of dread wash over her, but she pushed it aside, knowing that her duty was to protect humanity at all costs. As she arrived at the base, Zephyr greeted her with a grim expression. "It's worse than we thought," he said, leading her inside. "The Zorgons have already taken out half of our fleet." Aurelia's heart sank, but she refused to let despair take hold. "Then we'll have to make every shot count," she replied, determination burning in her eyes. In the hangar, Aurelia climbed into her fighter jet, the Valkyrie, and prepared for takeoff. As she soared into the sky, she was greeted by a swarm of Zorgon ships, their sleek, insectoid designs a stark contrast to the human fighters. "Engaging the enemy!" Aurelia called out over the comms, her voice steady despite the overwhelming odds. The battle was fierce, with Aurelia and her fellow pilots weaving through the enemy ships, trying to find weaknesses in their defenses. The Zorgons were relentless, their advanced technology seemingly impenetrable. Suddenly, a Zorgon ship locked onto Aurelia's tail, its lasers narrowly missing her wing. She gritted her teeth, pulling off a daring maneuver to shake her pursuer. As she did, she noticed a small gap in the enemy's formation. "I've got an idea," she said, her voice crackling over the comms. "But it's risky." "We're with you, Aurelia," Zephyr replied, his voice filled with trust in his sister's abilities. Aurelia took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She knew that the fate of humanity rested on the shoulders of the Earth Defense Force, and she was determined to give it her all. With a burst of speed, she charged towards the gap in the Zorgon formation, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 3. A Glimmer of Hope. Aurelia's heart raced as she maneuvered her Valkyrie through the gap in the Zorgon formation. The alien ships loomed around her, their menacing presence a constant reminder of the high stakes of this battle. "Zephyr, cover me!" Aurelia shouted into her comms. "I'm going to try and take out their command ship." "Roger that, sis," Zephyr replied, his voice steady despite the chaos. "We've got your back." The Valkyrie shuddered as Aurelia pushed it to its limits, weaving through the enemy fire. The command ship grew larger in her sights, its sleek, alien design both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted from the command ship, engulfing the battlefield. Aurelia's instruments went haywire, and her jet began to plummet towards the earth below. "Mayday! Mayday!" she cried out, struggling to regain control. "I've been hit!" As the ground rushed up to meet her, Aurelia closed her eyes, bracing for impact. But just before the Valkyrie collided with the earth, a strange energy enveloped the jet, slowing its descent and gently lowering it to the ground. Aurelia's eyes snapped open, her heart pounding. She stumbled out of the cockpit, her legs shaky from the adrenaline. There, standing before her, was a figure cloaked in shimmering light. Who are you?" Aurelia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure stepped forward, the light fading to reveal a tall, ethereal being with shimmering silver hair and piercing blue eyes. "I am Lyra, of the Celestial Guardians." The being spoke, her voice melodic and soothing. "We have watched your struggle against the Zorgons, and we have seen the bravery and determination of the human race." Aurelia's eyes widened, a glimmer of hope igniting within her. "Can you help us?" Lyra smiled, extending her hand. "We cannot fight this battle for you, but we can offer you the knowledge and tools to even the odds. Come with me, Aurelia. It's time for you to unlock your true potential." With a deep breath, Aurelia took Lyra's hand, ready to embark on a journey that could change the course of the war and the fate of humanity itself. As they walked away from the Valkyrie, Aurelia couldn't help but feel a flicker of excitement amidst the chaos. Perhaps, with the help of the Celestial Guardians, they stood a chance against the Zorgons after all. The scene fades to black, leaving readers eager to discover what new powers and knowledge Aurelia will gain and how she will use them to turn the tide of the battle and save the human race from extinction. Chapter 4. The Celestial Alliance. As Aurelia followed Lyra through a shimmering portal, she found herself in a realm unlike anything she had ever seen. The Celestial Realm was a place of breathtaking beauty, with floating islands adorned with gleaming structures and lush gardens. The air hummed with an energy that made Aurelia's skin tingle. Lyra led her to a grand hall where a council of celestial guardians awaited them. Each guardian emanated an aura of immense power and wisdom. Aurelia stood before them, feeling small yet determined. "Aurelia Ryder, we have watched your bravery and leadership in the face of the Zorgon invasion." The head guardian spoke, her voice echoing through the hall. "Your unwavering spirit and love for your people have shown us that humanity is worth fighting for." Aurelia bowed her head in respect. "I am honored to be here, and I am ready to do whatever it takes to save my world." The guardians nodded in approval. Lyra stepped forward, holding a glowing orb. "This is the celestial orb, imbued with the knowledge and power of our people. With it, you will gain the ability to harness the energy of the universe itself." As Aurelia took the orb in her hands, a surge of energy coursed through her body. Images and knowledge flooded her mind. Ancient techniques, advanced technologies, and the secrets of the cosmos. She gasped as the power settled within her, feeling a newfound strength and clarity. "But power alone is not enough," another guardian spoke. "You must also unite your people, for only together can you hope to defeat the Zorgons." Lyra placed a hand on Aurelia's shoulder. "We will fight alongside you, Aurelia. The celestial guardians will lend their strength to humanity in this darkest hour. With renewed determination, Aurelia returned to Earth, the celestial orb now a part of her. She gathered the remnants of humanity's forces, sharing with them the knowledge and hope she had gained. As word spread of the Celestial Alliance, people around the world rallied to Aurelia's cause. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to incorporate the celestial technologies into their weapons and defenses. Soldiers trained in the ancient techniques, honing their skills and unlocking new abilities. Humanity stood united, ready to face the Zorgons once more. Aurelia looked to the stars, knowing that the true battle was about to begin. With the power of the celestial guardians at their side, they would fight not just for survival, but for the future of all life in the universe. The stage was set for the final confrontation, and Aurelia was determined to lead her people to victory, no matter the cost. Chapter 5. The Tide Turns. As the Celestial Alliance gathered strength, Aurelia wasted no time in sharing her newfound knowledge and abilities with her fellow fighters. The ancient techniques and advanced technologies provided by the Celestial Guardians breathed new life into the weary soldiers, rekindling their hope and determination. Aurelia stood before the assembled forces, her eyes blazing with an otherworldly light. "My friends," she began, her voice resonating with power, "the Celestial Guardians have shown me the path to victory. Together we will turn the tide against the Zorgons and reclaim our world." The soldiers cheered, their spirits lifted by Aurelia's words and the tangible energy that flowed through their ranks. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to incorporate the celestial technologies into their weapons and defenses, while the soldiers trained relentlessly in the ancient techniques, unlocking abilities they had never dreamed possible. As the Zorgons launched their next assault, they were met with a transformed human resistance. Soldiers moved with supernatural speed and agility, their weapons imbued with celestial energy that tore through the alien armor like paper. The once invincible Zorgon warriors fell before the might of the Celestial Alliance, their advance halted by the indomitable human spirit. Aurelia led the charge, her movements a blur of grace and power as she wielded the celestial orb. The orb pulsed with energy, guiding her actions and amplifying her abilities tenfold. She danced through the battlefield, a beacon of hope and defiance, inspiring her fellow soldiers to even greater feats of bravery. The Zorgons, for the first time since their invasion began, found themselves on the defensive. They retreated, their once certain victory now in doubt, as humanity pushed back with a ferocity they had never encountered before. In the aftermath of the battle, Aurelia stood amidst the cheering soldiers, her heart swelling with pride and gratitude. "Today," she declared, "we have shown the Zorgons that humanity will never surrender. We will fight for our world, for our future, until our last breath." The soldiers roared their approval, their spirits soaring with renewed purpose. They knew the war was far from over, but with Aurelia at the helm and the power of the Celestial Alliance at their backs, they dared to believe that victory was within reach. As the sun set on the battlefield, Aurelia looked to the stars, her thoughts turning to the final confrontation that lay ahead. She knew the Zorgons would not rest until they had conquered Earth, but she was ready to face them, no matter the cost. With the strength of her people and the wisdom of the Celestial Guardians, she would lead humanity to its ultimate triumph, or die trying. Chapter 6. The Final Confrontation. The Zorgon mothership loomed menacingly in Earth's orbit, casting an ominous shadow over the planet. Aurelia stood at the forefront of the human resistance, her eyes fixed on the screen displaying the massive alien vessel. The time had come for the final confrontation, and the fate of humanity rested on the shoulders of Aurelia and her allies. With a determined stride, Aurelia made her way to the hangar bay, where a fleet of cutting-edge spacecraft awaited. The ships, enhanced with celestial technologies and piloted by the most skilled human fighters, represented humanity's last hope. As Aurelia boarded her vessel, she felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. The human fleet launched into space, streaking towards the Zorgon mothership. Aurelia's voice crackled over the comms. "This is it, everyone. We've come too far to back down now. Fight with everything you have, for Earth, for humanity." As the fleets clashed in a dazzling display of firepower, Aurelia weaved through the chaos, her skills honed by the teachings of the Celestial Guardians. The celestial orb pulsed with energy, amplifying her abilities and allowing her to strike at the heart of the Zorgon defenses. Explosions lit up the void as the battle raged on, both sides suffering heavy losses. Aurelia's ship took a direct hit, sending her spiraling out of control. As she struggled to regain control, a Zorgon fighter closed in, its weapons locked on her damaged vessel. Just when all seemed lost, a brilliant beam of light erupted from Earth's surface, engulfing the Zorgon mothership. The Celestial Alliance, united in one final push, had harnessed the power of the ancient artifacts to deliver a devastating blow to the invaders. Aurelia seized the opportunity, rallying the remaining human fighters to press the attack. They surged forward, their weapons tearing through the weakened Zorgon defenses. In a final, desperate gambit, Aurelia steered her ship directly towards the mothership's core, the celestial orb glowing with an intense, blinding light. The collision was catastrophic, the celestial orb's energy reacting with the mothership's power source in a cataclysmic explosion. The Zorgon vessel shattered, its fragments scattering across the stars. Aurelia's ship, battered and broken, tumbled away from the wreckage. As the dust settled, the human fleet regrouped, searching desperately for any sign of Aurelia. Amidst the debris, they found her ship, the cockpit shattered and exposed to the cold vacuum of space. But there, floating amidst the wreckage, was Aurelia, her body enveloped in a soft, pulsing glow. The celestial orb had shielded her from the explosion, its power sustaining her life. As her fellow soldiers brought her back to Earth, Aurelia's eyes fluttered open, a triumphant smile on her face. Earth was safe, and humanity had emerged victorious against all odds. In the aftermath of the war, Aurelia became a symbol of hope and resilience, her story inspiring generations to come. The flirtatious tale of human existence had reached its climax, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity and the power of unity in the face of adversity. And as Aurelia looked to the stars once more, she knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, humanity would always find a way to rise, to adapt, and to triumph as long as they stood together.